Hey everybody, this is Lee from the Shih here back again, and I'm back with yet another top 10, and this time I'm going to be doing the top 10 best logos of all time. Now keep in mind that this is not an official list, this is just my opinion, and these are my picks that I think are some of the best logos of all time. Now, spoilers, I will be making another top 10 best logos, since there's so many great logos out there, and I most likely will be doing more top 10 logos and stuff, like for example, overrated logos, inspired by Taylor Video Entertainment, except I'll say which ones are the most overrated. Of course, they're all in my opinion, and all that other kind of stuff. Now, the rules are simple. I cannot pick two of the same logos from the same studio in the list, otherwise it's going to be unfair. I have to pick one movie studio per logo, or shall I say, I have to pick one logo per movie studio just to make it more fair. And when I do make the other top 10 list, the rules will reapply. Like, for example, if I was to put Viacom on this list, which spoilers is not, say if Viacom was on my top 10 list, and I only had to pick one from them, and if I make another top 10 best logos of all time, the rules will reapply, and I can pick another one. They just can't be on the same list. That's what I'm saying. But enough mumbo jumbo. Let's get on straight to the list. Up at number 10, we have RKO Pictures from the 1930s. Now, personally, I think this logo is great, and if you ask me, this is the legal definition of a nostalgic logo and probably a classic logo. The only spoiler that I will give you is that this is the oldest logo on the list, and so, in an essence, like I said, it was made in the 30s. What we see is a radio antenna on top of Earth, it looks like, with the text, a radio picture, just popping up, each letter popping up one at a time from left to right. And with that sound going, that sound would later be used in later RKO Pictures logos. So RKO Pictures is the definition of a nostalgia classic, and it's the oldest logo on this list, and definitely one of the best logos, especially for the 1930s. This is a creative logo, if you ask me. Alright, so up at number 9, we have Universal from 1997. Now, even though I have nothing against the 100th anniversary logo, but it kind of feels more of like a rehash to this one. And besides, I had to personally pick 1997 because it's not only the most nostalgic, but it's also probably one of the most impressive CGI logos for a 1990s logo. Because like I just said, it was made in 1997. So you could imagine how this logo would look. What we see is Earth, and the Earth's continents glowing up, almost like an aurora sort of. And then we see the text Universal come around from right to left, forming over, just revolving around Earth, similar to the what was it, the 75th anniversary logo? Yeah, the 75th anniversary logo, similar to that. So Universal 1997 is a great logo, definitely one of the best logos of the 1990s. Personally, I think making the top 10 logos on each decade would actually be a good idea. I'm open for that, just letting you know in case anybody cares. Anyways, so up at number 8, we have New Line Cinema. You want to talk about a nostalgic logo, a logo that everyone can remember? New Line Cinema is no different. New Line Cinema is probably a logo from Time Warner that I probably remember the most, apart from Warner Brothers. The same, as a matter of fact, Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema are owned by the same company, as a matter of fact. They are. They're owned by Time Warner. But each one can still apply for the list as they're still separate movie studios, but that's not important. What we see is a movie reel starting at the beginning of the logo, just forming up into the square to make it look like a movie reel, with the text New Line Cinema just forming up over the bottom, and then you have, of course, the AOL Time Warner Company fade in, of course. So yeah, New Line Cinema is definitely a great logo. The CGI is nice, the music is nice, the animation is nice, and overall, I just don't know not one person that doesn't know about this logo, and chances are that if you don't, then you're a pansy. Sorry if that offended anybody. So up at number 7, we have Walt Disney Pictures from 1985. Now, I could personally make an entire list of some of the best Walt Disney logos, but first off, that would be extremely easy, number one. And number two, of all the Walt Disney Pictures logos, I had to go with the one from 1985, because this is the one that I personally remember the most. Now, what we see is obviously the Disney castle at the beginning of a blue background, at least it's not black, but to be fair, it is depending on the variant, and it glows down to form the castle, of course, and then another glow appears on the door of the castle with the text Walt Disney, Walt Disney's signature comes up, Pictures comes in, and then we see a star going over the castle. Now, you can't possibly tell me that this is a logo that everyone remembers. Like I said, it was made in 1985, so like the animation for this logo is really nice, especially for 1985. I mean, personally, I don't know anybody else that doesn't know about this logo, especially if you're a fan of animation like I am, a hardcore fan rather. So chances are that if you do not know about Walt Disney 1985, you're missing out on all the fun, and I personally feel sorry for you. So up in number 6, we have DreamWorks SKG. Once again, it was made the same year, 1997, as Universal. It's now animation probably would have made it on this list, but for now I had to go with the regular DreamWorks logo SKG. The main reason why is because, well, let's talk about it, shall we? So at the very first beginning of the logo, we see a boy on a crescent moon fishing. Yes, he's fishing from the moon. This would be the iconic DreamWorks shtick. And then we see the words DreamWorks form, and the D forms with the crescent moon. And every single time I look at crescent moons at night, I get the impression that the D is there. But anyways, it goes for the text DreamWorks from left to right until clouds cover the camera, and then it reveals the DreamWorks logo as it heads to the center of the screen in the middle of a night sky and between some clouds. This is probably one of the most beautiful logos that I have ever seen. Once again, it was made in 1997, the same year Universal was made. The animation is nice, and the music, I just freaking love the music. As a matter of fact, the music is a bonus as to why it was on the list. As a matter of fact, this logo is not even used for DreamWorks animated movies. As a matter of fact, the only animated movie by DreamWorks that this logo was seen on was Shrek. Shrek was the only movie that used this logo. Otherwise, it used the separate DreamWorks animation logo. But anyways, let's just keep moving on. Now we're finally on to the top 5. My top 5 favorite logos of all time. Just keep in mind and remember, this is just my opinion, but I don't need to remind you of that. Anyways, so coming up at number 5, we have Maramax Films from 1987. Oh my gosh, man. Of all the Maramax Films logos, this is probably the most memorable and probably the best one by far. This one's a fan favorite, and it's probably the one that most people remember the most, apart from the city one. But most people find those logos annoying because it plasters the old school Maramax Films logos. But let's talk about it, shall we? So what we see is an M just zooming off on the screen as it goes from left to right, revealing the gold Maramax film text, and then it goes away as the words films fades in, and then we see a giant M basically box the logo, shall I say. Trying to put this into my own context, so don't criticize me for that. It's extremely trivial, but and then we see the M, and of course we have the beautiful fanfare in the background. This is the definition of a nostalgia classic. The animation is just nice and the music is nice. It's another 1980s logo on the list, but don't be surprised that you see this logo again once I make a top 10 best logos of the 1980s. Maramax Films is one of the best logos ever made. This particular one, which people calls the Big M. It's the one that most people remember, and it's the most nostalgic, and I quite honestly thought it should have lasted longer. It lasted from 1987 to 1996, which is sad. I honestly felt this logo should have lasted longer, but oh well. It lasted at least. So up at number 4, we have Warner Brothers Pictures. You guys probably already knew this logo would be coming. It's just that the only question is, what position would it be in? And it takes the number 4 spot on this list. What we see at the very beginning of the logo is a reflection, a goal impression of the Warner Brothers Studios, which is located in Burbank, California. Yes, I just pointed that out in case anybody cares. Which is actually a reflection of the WB shield, as the WB shield forms and makes its way to the center of the screen, revealing WB and Warner Brothers Pictures. In, of course, the sky, of course, which is the iconic background for Warner Brothers. And of course, you have the Time Warner Company fading at the bottom. Now, this logo, I think most people probably remember this logo, and this logo, in my opinion, is better than the previous logo, because the previous logo would just stay there and do absolutely nothing. But in this one, this is the one that actually does something. The CGI is also really nice too, and the fanfare is the one everyone remembers. The name of the fanfare is titled As Time Goes By. It's also the same one for the television, which plays the short version. This logo is actually the current one, and it's been around since 1998. I think that was the 75th anniversary. I think this is actually the 75th anniversary of Warner Brothers logo. But don't be surprised that Warner Brothers makes a new logo sometime in the future. But so far, this is still the one that's ongoing. But let's keep moving. Alrighty, so up at number 3, we have Studio Canal from 2011. Oh man, what can I say about Studio Canal? Studio Canal, I really can't put it in the proper context. You just seen the logo. How can I describe it? You see all these colorful bars in the beginning of the logo, right? You see some of the text Studio Canal appearing in some parts of the logo. Again, you still see all these flashing lights, almost like an aurora, and then sometime later in the end, that's when you finally see the word Studio Canal. And it's really all there is to it. As simple as this logo is, the logo's animation and music is just so nice. The animation and all that stuff is one of the main reasons why it's number 3 on this list. It's safe to say that had this logo not had so much effort put into, it wouldn't be number 3 on this list. But because the animators went so far as to make Studio Canal look extremely great, that's why it takes the number 3 spot on this list. So up at number 2, we have one of the greatest logos of all time, Regency Enterprises. You know what? I don't know not a single person on YouTube that does not know about Regency. Everywhere I look, Regency always gets an HD remake. Like SLN Media Group, the owner of the POE, he even made a remake of the logo. But what you're looking at is the official logo itself. I believe this logo was used from it was first made in 1994 and it lasted until December 25th of 2015. That's right. Christmas Day of 2015 was the last day that this very logo ever appeared on the big screen or in any movie. Have you guys ever heard of a movie called The Revenant? I never seen that movie, but from what I heard, The Revenant was the final movie that used the Regency Enterprises logo. And as of 2016, like back in May, Regency has made yet another logo. It has yet to appear in a film, but that's for another video. Now, I haven't even talked about the logo design itself, but it's really simple. Despite that, it's the music that it's the logo design of the music, that's why it's so high. What we see is the Regency logo itself forming in the form of an aurora, and then you have the Regency text forming up on the bottom as the text and the logo itself glows, with the fanfare playing in the background. The fanfare was composed by Danny Elfman, by the way. Just wanted to point that out in case anybody cares. This logo is definitely a nostalgia classic, and I used to see this logo all the time as a child. So you can understand why it's definitely so high on the list. But the only shocking part is that it's only number 2 on this list. So what could possibly top Regency Enterprises? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the most nostalgic logo in my opinion. Even though I was not around in 1987 when this logo was around, I still think it's number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, I give you Paramount Pictures from 1987. Oh my god. I do not know not one person that does not know about Paramount. Almost every logo fan I know at least knows Paramount. Paramount is currently the biggest movie studio in Hollywood. Not only that, but it's been around for over 100 years and it has the most iconic logo of all time. Everybody knows how Paramount goes. Hell, even some of the casual fans know that. Like, some people that just goes in to watch movies, they're not there for the logos. But even movie fans that don't even talk about logos to begin with, even they know how Paramount goes. Let's talk about it. So we obviously see the stars forming up over the mountain from the left side of the screen as you hear the fanfare playing in the background with Paramount and a Gulf Western company byline fading in with the fanfare still playing in the background. This is actually the 75th anniversary logo, which is why they changed it. Previously, it was the Blue Mountain logo, but when the 75th anniversary of the studio was around, it changed to this. This logo was made in 1987, and it was purely made of all CG. That's right, this logo was all CG. No traditional animation was used, not once in this. Look, I just can't put this in the proper context. Besides, my brain's a bit fuzzy at the moment. Let's just say that Paramount is an all CG logo, especially for a 1987 logo. That's great. And I love the fanfare. It's Paramount on parade, by the way. This is the definition of a nostalgia classic, and it's my favorite logo of all time. And if you do not know about this logo, and if you dare even say that you hate this logo, I will hunt you down and kill you. By the way, I'm joking when I say that, by the way. Anyways, guys, so thank you guys for watching this top 10 list. Sorry if it went too long. It's just I had a lot to say, and I did make a previous recording, but I had to make a better one because I really didn't like it too much. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, be sure to subscribe for more videos from the Shizzle Network. And until then, peace out, deuces, beyond the infinite. And as always, think for yourself.